You think just because you wear a suit, you're above my courtroom? The judge hissed. $500 fine for contempt and being late. Maybe next time, you'll learn to respect this court. The courtroom fell into stunned silence. The black man didn't flinch. He slowly placed his briefcase on the table. Then, in a voice so calm it sent chills across the room, he said, "Actually, Your Honor, I'm not here for a hearing. I'm here to observe yours. I work for the Department of Justice. And today, ma'am, you're the one being watched." Everything changed. Rain poured like judgment from the sky. Inside Courtroom 6B of Rockfield County, Judge Marilyn Dupree reigned with a gavel and a reputation for ruthlessness, especially toward people who looked a certain way. Her motto? If they show up late, they're already guilty. That Tuesday morning was no different. She barked at a struggling single mother for not having childcare, rolled her eyes at a Spanish-speaking defendant who needed a translator, and sighed when a homeless veteran's shoes left marks on her polished floor. Then he walked in. A tall black man in a sharp navy blue suit. Calm. Confident. But 5 minutes late. Judge Dupree narrowed her eyes. Name? The man smiled. William Carter. Late, Mr. Carter. That's contempt, $500 fine. He blinked. Pardon? You people think the rules don't apply, huh? She smirked. Not in my courtroom. Whispers spread. But Carter didn't argue. He simply said, noted. He sat, quietly. Watching. Writing something on a notepad. William Carter was more than just a well-dressed man. He was a senior federal prosecutor. Top of his class at Harvard. Decorated in the DOJ for exposing corruption across 5 states. But in this courtroom, to her, he was just another black face. And that's exactly what he needed her to think. Because this wasn't a random visit. This was an undercover audit. Rockfield County had received over 112 complaints of racial bias in Judge Dupree's courtroom. Cases dismissed without explanation. Fines issued disproportionately. The poor silenced. Minorities mocked. And William had been assigned to gather first-hand evidence. That's why he came alone. That's why he came without flashing credentials. And that's why he stayed silent. Because sometimes, justice listens, before it speaks. Friends, if real stories like this, where justice quietly defeats injustice, touch your heart, then walk this journey with us. Subscribe to this channel, because here, we share stories that don't just entertain. They make you feel, awaken you, and remind you, you are not alone. By lunch, Carter had seen enough. A 19-year-old boy fined $200 for asking a question. A grandmother threatened with jail for backtalk when she couldn't hear. An immigrant's request for a translator denied. But the moment that broke him? A young girl with trembling hands stood beside her father, accused of stealing diapers. He didn't plead. He just said, I couldn't let her go without again. The courtroom held its breath. Judge Dupree leaned back, stone cold. Parenting doesn't excuse theft. 30 days in jail. The girl screamed. Carter's pen stopped moving. As court resumed in the afternoon, Carter stood. Your Honor, he said softly. I'd like to address the court. Judge Dupree scoffed. You're not counsel on record. Carter reached into his pocket. Pulled out a small badge. The official gold DOJ seal. And said. William Carter. Federal Prosecutor. Here on behalf of the U.S. Department of Justice Civil Rights Division. You are being audited for judicial misconduct. Gasps echoed. Judge Dupree's face turned white. She stumbled. You're not allowed to do this. Carter calmly opened his briefcase. Laid down 146 written complaints. Pulled up video recordings from hidden courtroom cameras, DOJ approved. Your Honor, he said, voice steady. Today, we were not here to try the people. We were here to try you. That night, the footage exploded across social media. Racist judge fined black man, didn't know he was a federal prosecutor, trended worldwide. The clip of Carter calmly revealing his identity gained over 48 million views in 24 hours. People who had once been silenced, finally felt heard. One comment read, "I watched this with my mom. We cried. This isn't just justice. This is healing." Another said, "Every young black kid needs to see this. This man is proof, we don't just survive racism, we rise above it. This isn't just a story of one man versus one judge. It's a story of dignity versus discrimination. Of how silence is sometimes strategy. Of how the best revenge is justice served cold and calm." William Carter didn't raise his voice. He didn't shout. He let his truth speak louder. And in doing so, he gave a voice to thousands who had been made to feel invisible. 3 months later, Judge Dupree was removed from her position. Carter returned. Not as an observer, but as a guest speaker to young law students. He said, "Don't waste time trying to prove you belong in the room. Just walk in, and do the work that proves you own it." The same courtroom where injustice once lived, now echoed with applause. Globe showing Europe, Africa, wherever you are, whoever you are, your voice matters. Your presence has power. And your silence can shake walls when it's filled with purpose. Light bulb like this video if you believe in silent strength. Comment below with the words, "I rise with dignity." Let the world know you're not afraid to be seen. Subscribe for more powerful stories that uplift, inspire, and awaken. Because sometimes, the ones the world tries to fine, silence, or judge, are the very ones who will change everything.